Morning, guys. How we doing today? As you know, I am the Star Wars cooking guy. We'll get a little bit started here. Going to do a little bit of different things. I don't have a Star Wars recipe for you today. Oh, whoa! Shocker! Yeah, I know. Reason being, some of the things that I got and I was going to do takes a little bit longer than I have to prepare, and do my show. So that will be next week. All right, next week's show. But anyways, I am going to do a show, and this is a different kind of show. You're going to be like, well, what are you cooking? I'm just going to give you a little bit of what I like to do, what I like to cook in my own time. Get my apron on here because need my Darth Vader apron. Yeah. All right. But yeah. So this is this is stuff that I cook, my own recipes that I do. All right. So we're just gonna get started. This is my Kielbasa and Mac-n-Cheese, all homemade. I mean, kielbasa is not homemade, obviously, but macaroni cheese is homemade. I got my pot boiling over there. Got my noodles in it already. I do need to give it a little bit of a stir. One second here. You gotta stir the noodles. That way you make sure you loosen up the noodles and they don't cook all together. So there we go. All right, noodles are cooking nice and good, and they're gonna cook for anywhere from about 8 to 10 minutes, somewhere around there. Make sure you don't put the noodles in until the water is boiling hot. The water has to be boiling before you put the noodles in. And always add some salt. Salt will keep the noodles from sticking together and forming together after the boiling is complete and the cooking is complete for them. So, what we got is I got my kielbasa all cut up and ready to go. I'm going to get my pan hot, and we're just gonna move you over here. All right. Put you into the mix. Hello, how's it going? All right, let's find a good spot for you here. There we go. Nice spot right there. So, first thing I'm going to put is I use teriyaki sauce. And we're going to put this into a pan. All right. As most people know, when I cook, I don't measure. Now, this is the secret ingredient that goes with my kielbasa teriyaki sauce mix: brown sugar. Now, you may be asking yourself, Seth, how does brown sugar go with kielbasa? Well, you're about to see how it goes with kielbasa, because this is absolute heaven after you're done with it. Need a spoon small enough to get in there. There we go. So, putting brown sugar in. And what this is going to do is this is going to make a glaze. Alright. Basically going to have a glaze for your kielbasa. Brown sugar is in, and of course we do need to add some butter. Just a little bit. We don't need much butter. Get some butter out a little bit later too for the mac and cheese sauce, obviously. So put the butter in there. So we got the butter, our teriyaki sauce, which we're going to add a little bit more. That way it does not dry out. There we go. All right. And that is smelling nicely. Now this should have a almost like not a thick thick consistency to it. Still liquid form, obviously. Right, here I am looking at you, sorry. So a liquid form to it. We're going to bend you down here and let's look, see what it looks like. Because, you know, that's what we do here at the Star Wars Cooking Guy Show. We let you see. Going on. So I figure out how to work this contraption. Alright, what we got? Alright, there you go. As you can see, it is boiling. Now this is a good boil, and this is exactly what you want. Get that butter melted in there a little bit longer, then we're going to add our kielbasa in there. Now this does not take long to cook at all. I want you to know that. It cooks up in no time, and it is absolute heaven in your mouth. The brown sugar mixes with the kielbasa and makes an awesome glaze. Alright. Now I use a deeper pan because I don't want anything spilling out overboard. This is my kielbasa cut up into little circles right there. Alright. I know there's different ways to cook it up, or cut it up I should say. So let's just put this on in here. So this is technically a recipe by Seth, the Star Wars Cooking Guy. One of his own. Hey look, can you see Yoda? I know I can. So we're going to put them in there and get them all mixed up. Making sure the glaze gets over all of this kielbasa because we want the nice glaze on the kielbasa, and we're just going to fry these up. Doesn't that just look good? Yes, I know. They're not done yet. They do cook for a little bit. Now this is going to cook for about anywhere from 4 to 6 minutes. Speaking of which, did you guys watch Kenobi last week? I know I did. And those episodes were epic. And I mean epic. We see an old man Ben Kenobi there. Oh my gosh. Noodles are not quite done yet. I hate to think that, you know, it is only 6 episodes long, but I mean, how do you keep people locked in? You have the episode weekly, every Wednesday, and then you only release so many episodes. So, I mean, lock them in and you see people just go crazy for this. Also had Star Wars Celebration last week. We're going to tilt you back up here while this cooks. How's it going? Star Wars Celebration was last weekend in Anaheim. They announced a lot of new shows. You got Ahsoka, the series, coming later in the year of 2023. The new season of The Mandalorian launching February 2023. That was announced. You got Andor, which takes place before Rogue One, announced for 2 seasons. The first one being, so all of it is like 5 years before Rogue One. So the first season is the first year of that, and then the second season is going to be the last 4 years covering this. All right, that seems interesting. You've got the Jon Favreau Mandalorian figure that was only released to people that went to this celebration in Anaheim. I so wish I could have been there and got me one of those. It will be released to the public, but there will be a limited amount to get your hands on this. I will be doing my best. If I do get it, I will display this on the show. But we'll see. We will see. So this is cooking up quite nicely. I'm going to let you see it one more time. That way you see what it looks like. Quite nice. Like I said, not long to cook at all. Not long. So that is pretty much done. So we are going to turn it off. I'm going to get a lid. Hold that thought. Got my lid. I'm gonna set it over here. All right, get it out of the way. Like I said, it's all done. We're going to check my noodles real quick because I do want to make sure I do not overcook these noodles. Now, we want these just under done because we're going to put them in the oven. So we're going to make mac and cheese, and you can do this either way. You can have it just the way I do it, where you just combine the cheese that I make with the cheese sauce that I make with the noodles and just eat it like that. It's good just like that. Or you can bake it for a little bit, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit of both versions here, and you're going to see both. Yes, I know I'm talking fast, but that's what we do here at the Star Wars Cooking Guy Show. Yeah! Alright, so noodles are done. Key thing about noodles, once they're done, you do want to rinse them with cold water. What cold water does, cold water stops the cooking. Stops the cooking process, and that's what we want to happen. We want to stop the cooking process. That way the noodles do not cook any further than what we want them to. So 1 second here. Alright. Now, also, in order to keep them from drying out, we're going to keep them in cold water. And I'm just going to use my pan that I have right here, and I'm going to put cold water in here and put my noodles back in here and just keep them on here. And it's going to keep them nice and cold, going to keep them moist, but they are not going to cook any further than I want them to. You can use this for any type of noodle. Don't forget it. Great tip right there. Noodles are set in cold water, and I mean, it's cold water. Just stick your hand in there, make sure it's cold. All right, make sure your noodles aren't sticking together or anything. You know, make sure it's good to go. And there you go, you got it. So we're going to put our lid back on here. That way we know it's done. Lid's on, lid means done. All right, so that butter I cut up, the rest of it, I'm going to go into our cheese sauce. Well, not the rest of it, about half of it. So, about 3.5, maybe 4 tablespoons. All right, we're going to melt this into a pan. All right. You guys may notice my bandage here. I cut my thumb a couple days ago, but it's fine. It's fine. All right, it's fine. Some may say it's not fine, but it is. It's fine. Alright, so I'm going to heat this up. I'm going to get everything ready to go. So, once the butter melts, we're going to put in our seasonings. It's always nice to have them ready to go. Seasonings include salt, pepper, paprika, and garlic powder. That is our seasonings here going into this, our cheese sauce. Alright, I got my little baking dish ready for the baked part of the macaroni and cheese. With this, I'm going to go ahead and spray it with a cooking spray, just so things don't stick in there. Great idea to do. So just go ahead and spray that. That way we have it ready. Things are going faster. You hear that? That is the butter. The butter is melting in the pan. I need to go ahead and get my milk and my heavy cream. Some may ask, well, Seth, why do you use both? Why do you use milk and heavy cream? Well, the cream thickens it up. The heavy cream does. The milk thins it out. Mix them together, you get a more creamier texture to my cheese sauce. All right, to my cheese sauce. The only thing I measured, I used 2 cups of milk. I do use 2% milk. I do not use whole milk. I do not use 1% milk. 2%. It is the only kind of milk there is. The only kind of milk there ever will be. Thank you. I rest my case on that. All right. So, pan is a little hot. We're going to turn this down because we don't want this too hot while we're doing it. We want to cook from a low setting. I just turned it up so I could get the butter melted real quick. All right. Butter is melted. This is going to happen real quick, so I'm going to tilt you down, let you get a nice view of everything that's going on. All right. All right, we got it right there. Got the shot. All right. As you can see, butter is melted. First, some salt. Like I said, I don't measure this stuff at all. I will taste afterwards. A little bit of paprika. Gives it a nice flavor. Of course, some garlic powder. Garlic powder as well gives a nice flavor. And then pepper. Alright, get that right in there. Now we're going to give this a stir. Alright, I'm going to stir all this in with the butter. Notice it's a foamy, it's really foamy. It's got a nice color to it. And we are going to next add in our flour. Flour is going to make the base of this cheese sauce. Alright. Once again, there is no measuring involved, even though it does look like I'm using a measuring spoon, which I am. But you're going to don't want to pour it too much in. You just want to pour enough in to mix with that butter, all right? And then we're going to cook this flour. So that was about 1/4 cup, just so you know. You can take reference to that. All right, we're going to cook this. While that is cooking, and you can see that it's cooking, we're going to move some things out of the way and get ready for the next step. Alright, getting seasonings and stuff out of the way. You can see it's almost like a crumble type deal that you have in there. And you're cooking this flour is what you're doing. Cooking butter and flour and these seasonings all mixed together. The longer you cook it, the darker it will get, just so you know. So just a couple minutes there, which we've got. Next we're going to add our whipping cream. Now I always add the whipping cream directly into the flour. This is the flour and butter mixture. Whipping cream goes first. Whipping cream gives it the thicker consistency that I want. We do this slowly while whisking. Alright, as you can see, it is thickening and it is forming. Alright, and we get it until we get a nice consistency. Gotta get a little bit more in there. See how that thickened right up with the addition of the heavy whipping cream. Alright, so we got what it looks like a paste. I'm going to add a little bit more. And this is what you want it to look like before you add your milk. Alright, so we've got our little pasty there. Now we're going to add our milk. Our milk is going to give it the thinness that we need to melt our cheese in. And now I use a sharp cheddar cheese. Shredded, 2 cups of sharp cheddar cheese, because that's about how much macaroni I make. All right, so like I said, this will thin it out really good, and we're going to turn up the heat. We turn up the heat so we get it boiling. We want it to boil a little bit, just a little bit of bubbles. That's all we need. once it reaches the bubbles, that's when we are going to add in our sharp cheddar cheese. Right there. You can buy all these supplies at the great place of Walmart, just so you know. I mean, not that you thought that I went anywhere else. I am going to put a glove on because the band-aids want to come off, and I don't want that to happen. You want me to band-aid in the macaroni and cheese, right? That is right. So, okay, so just waiting for this to boil, and then we're going to add in our cheese. Now this is a quick and easy meal, as you can see. All this can be done in less than 30 minutes, obviously. So, and it's a great and filling meal as well. Kids like it, adults like it. Even Baby Yoda would probably like this, just saying. Of course, he eats anything, but you know. Alright, we're starting to get the bubbles. Always want to make sure we are whisking in there to make sure nothing is sticking to the bottom. We don't want any of that flour pasty mixture to stick to the bottom. We need that to mix with the cheese. Alright. As you can see, has a nice orangish color, given to by the paprika. The paprika gives it that nice orangish color that I get right there. All right, and then all the other seasonings mixed within it makes it, oh, it is delicious. I cook this so many times of the year. Unlike my my special cake that I make. I make a special cake that everyone just dies for. And it is the absolute best thing in the world. And maybe I'll make it on the show one day. You know, maybe that's what we'll do. Alright. Come on, a bubble. Bubble, 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 bubble. It will eventually. You know, if I had some force lightning, I could make it bubble. Make it heat up a little bit quicker. Alright. Don't know if you can see it, but it is starting to bubble around the side. Alright, so we're getting our bubbles around the side, and that's basically what we're looking for. We don't want the milk to boil too much, alright, because then it will not be the right texture. Alright, so we got our sharp cheddar cheese. Pour about half in there at first. Alright, we've got to see if we get the right consistency out of that, which it won't be. It'll be still a little thin. But we just only want to melt about half at once. You know, that cheese melts in this milk, which is great, and that's what's going to give us our great cheese sauce. Alright, need to go get a tasting spoon. Now, as you all know, and as you have probably seen on the show, I normally don't use a tasting spoon. I normally just dip my finger in there to taste it, and it's good, and that's fine for cooking at home, but you know, you should. We're going to turn this down a little bit. It is getting a little bit too warm. All right, so we're going to do a little bit more cheese, and we're not going to quite use it all because we don't need to. It thickened up quite nice. We're going to melt this cheese in here, and it is getting to the right consistency where we need to be. Alright, you may have to let it set for a little bit, maybe not. It just depends on how you got this cooking. The longer you let it sit, the more cheesy and ooey gooey it gets, you know. Alright, so we're going to give it a little taste just to make sure that I have the right combination. We're going to add a little bit more salt. A little bit more salt. A little bit more pepper. And you can season this afterwards as well, as you can see. See how it's got that little peppery flakes in there? Alright, and don't add too much salt. Too much salt is not good. Once you add too much salt, it really overpowers it, and you cannot go back and change that. Alright, so got our creamy mixture here. We're going to turn off the heat. Alright. I'm going to tilt you guys back up. Alright. So we are at... Alright. Now, we're going to... let's see. Let's move you over here. And woo, yeah. Fun ride, wasn't it? My little cooking area there. As you can see, let's get some things out of the way. Alright, so we have our pan there. We're going to take our noodles, we're going to drain them again. Now remember, these are cold noodles, So I have heated my oven up to 350 degrees. That's what you want to bake this on. We're just going to move our noodles over here. And we're going to throw them in here. Alright. And we're going to add in our cheesy sauce. Big fly, get out of the way. Don't know where you came from, but I don't like you. Alright. Cheesy sauce, gonna mix it all in together. Alright. Doesn't that just look yummy? Now, like I said, you can eat it just like this, and it is so good. Or, you can get even a little bit more creative. A little bit of breadcrumbs. These are just plain breadcrumbs. And we're baking this, and we're going to get a little bit of a crust on top is what we're going to do. A little bit more paprika. Just for coloring right there. Alright. We're going to throw this in the oven. And now that's going to cook for... Alright, back up here. Hey. Going to cook for about 20 minutes. Alright, so we're going to stop you there. I'll be back in about 20 minutes when this is done. And... we'll see what it looks like. We'll do our tasting, and I'll have the other type of macaroni and cheese as well. And like I said, all you do is take the macaroni, mix it in with the cheese, and it's good to go. So, see you in 20 minutes. And all right, guys, we are back, and it is now time for the testing, the taste testing. And I am excited. I know you're excited. So let's just get down into it. I'm going to show you what this looks like when it comes out, because I always want you guys to see what it looks like. So that's what it looks like when it comes out. All it does is crusting up top. It looks so good. It is going to be absolutely amazing. So just dig right in here, and man, look at that. Look how creamy that looks. Just going to put this on the plate right here. That is heaven on a plate. I'm telling you, heaven on a plate. Woo! Almost ended on the floor, but it's fine. Now we're gonna get our kielbasa. Oh my gosh! Now this mixes absolutely wonderful together. Just so you know, they are an absolute dream together. First, the macaroni and cheese. Noodles are cooked just right. You have the crunchiness of the breadcrumbs on top. All the flavors of the seasoning and the cheese, and it is absolutely creamy goodness right there. Of course, I'm not going to knock my own cooking, but it's still good. And then you have your kibasi. So the brown sugar teriyaki sauce mix brings out a sweetness to the kibasi. All right. The kibasi is good in itself, but when you add this, it is a sweet sauce that mixes on this, and it is just so good. And like I said, it's very easy to make. It's very cheap to make. It's a fun, easy, cheap dinner that you can have when you're hosting. Take it to a barbecue, anything like that. You know, you can take all this out there, and it will keep, and it's good. People will eat it. It won't be left over, be there sitting, you know, on the picnic table like, oh, nobody touched that. No. This will be gone. People will be asking you, how did you make this? Where can I get more? So, I'm not just going to have you watch here, sit me eat, although I could because it's just so good. That's the show, guys. Appreciate you. Hope you like it. Hope you like this was a different kind of segment. We will have a new Star Wars recipe here coming soon. Just not today. Like I said, I had to let things get ready to go. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see about tomorrow. I may drop another episode tomorrow. The new Kenobi episode is out today, so be able to give some updates on that. I mean, I hope y'all are as down about that as I am. But we'll see. Thanks for watching. And until next time, that's all. Y'all have a great day.